Sometimes we want to indicate together with our association connection that there is some level of multiplicity involved. For example, we may say that flight schedule is a collection of flights. So there will be multiple flights placed in some sort of list of flights, and therefore schedule has a list of flights in its own implementation, and therefore schedule can provide access to multiple flights. So normally to indicate something like this we use an asterisk. So an asterisk is just the universal, like a wildcard indicator of multiplicity. So if we draw an asterisk right here in the diagram, this indicates that the schedule can have 0 or more flights, right? So the schedule can be empty, however, we can start populating our schedule with many flights. So this is like one-to-many relationship, and normally it indicates that collection of references to flight objects is stored inside the schedule. So the schedule has some sort of array, a collection of at runtime. The schedule, when it's instantiated, it will have an array of references to multiple instances of flight objects. So multiplicity is very popular when we use UML diagrams. So what kind of multiplicity specifiers exist? If we want to say that our subject, basically the object in question, or the class that we're trying to discuss, so we call it a subject, so this is the focus of attention. It can have one type, one instance of object type A. Okay, so like for instance, we can say that the car has a gearbox, and this gearbox is one instance right here. Or we can say that the schedule can have 0 or more flights. So 0 or more is indicated by 0, this abbreviated 2 periods or an epsilon like this, and an asterisk. So that means that this schedule, for instance, if the subject was the schedule and B was the flight, then the schedule can be empty, which will indicate that there will be 0 objects of this type, or we can have multiple instances. Same thing, but we say that here that at least one of these is required. Essentially, what this typically means, by the way, is that if something like this becomes part of the design, then we say that this thing should have at least one of these things. That immediately tells me that is very likely when this object is created, when the object of this type is created, and we have to have at least one or more of these types, very likely that both of these two created together, and perhaps this first instance of this type of class could be used as a prototype to create other instances, right? So maybe the first flight object is created together with the schedule, because if this was the part of the design that we said at least one should exist, then this first instance of flight, which is present in the schedule, can be used as a prototype to clone and copy and create new objects. Okay, so but that's the indication of something like this. 0 or 1 is basically just a variation of this, that we can have something like, here we may indicate that a reservation can have 1, 0, right, 0, or 1 payment object. And so that the reservation can have no payment, but it can also have a payment object available. So 0 to 1 that is used in this type of situation. And by the way, just using an asterisk like this is the same as this, right? So asterisk typically indicates 0 or more. So 0 or more, or this 0 or more, is the same type of multiplicity specification. So you can see that this multiplicity specification can tell us a lot about the data structure. So these multiplicity specifiers are very popular in design diagrams, and we should pay close attention to what they tell us these multiplicity specifiers.